I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 26. So let's focus on verses 18 through 22. Isaac reopened the water wells that had been dug in the days of his father Abraham, and that the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died. He gave them the same names his father had given them. Moreover, Isaac's slaves dug in the valley, and they found a well of living water. But the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen and said, "The well is ours." And so he named the well Quarrel, because they quarreled with him. Then they dug another well and quarreled over that one also. So he named it Hostility. And he moved on from there and dug another, and they did not quarrel over it. And he named it Open Spaces. And he said, "For now the Lord had made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land." Now, in the Middle East, it's not unlike Southern California. As a matter of fact, landing in Tel Aviv is kind of like landing in San Diego, except the Jesus who walks around Southern California is probably of the Mexican variety, whereas the Jesus who walked around Israel, well, of course, he's Jesus. I digress. My point is that both Israel and SoCal understand deserts, and anyone living in a desert knows that water is about the most important resource. And where there is water, there is life. No water, no life. Water in the Bible, therefore, becomes a metaphor for spiritual life. We know that people, when they're sending rockets out to Mars and they're doing all kinds of probes on Mars landings, all they're looking for is water. Water symbolizes God's presence, His Ruach, Spirit, that is His blessing. Today's passage is about more than water feuds. It's symbolic of the spiritual family strife between the sons of Isaac and the sons of Ishmael. Both of them had Abraham as a father. In the New Testament, water imagery is also used. In particular, take note of how Jesus speaks to the Samaritan woman at the well. Samaritans were half-breeds, that is, they were half Jewish and half Gentile. And Samaritans were kind of the ugly reminders of Israel's past national sin, where the children of Israel intermarried with Canaanites and they adopted pagan ways. Romans 1 verse 16 states that Jesus came first to the Jew and then to the Gentile. And Jesus used water imagery to communicate that he accepted the Samaritans as if they were fully Jewish. And in doing this, Jesus evoked the memories of ages-old feuds which went beyond simple water fights. John chapter 4, verses 4 through 10 says this: "He had to travel through Samaria, so Jesus came to a town of Samaria called Sychar, near the property that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. And Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, worn out from his journey, sat down at the well. It was about 6 p.m. A woman of Samaria came to draw water. 'Give me something to drink,' Jesus said to her, for his disciples had gone into town to buy food. 'How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a Samaritan woman?' she asked him. And Jesus answered, 'If you knew the gift of God, and who is saying to you, "Give me a drink," you would ask him, and he would give you living water.'" Jesus draws another parallel that we would be wise to take note of in today's church culture. Religion, apart from a personal relationship with Jesus, simply cannot hold water. Consider Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 13. "For my people have committed a double evil. They have rejected me, the fountain of living water, and they have dug cisterns for themselves, cracked cisterns that cannot hold water." Tell me, does your faith hold water? Or are you still holding out on surrendering to Jesus? You should surrender to Jesus today. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. If you want to know more about how to surrender to the gospel, well, check us out at groundworksministries.com.